Let's speak to the party now. National Youth Organizer of the party is George Opare Addo, also known as Pablo. Mr. Opare Addo, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, my brother Omar. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I know that organizing primaries or elections of this nature would require a lot. You've been putting a lot together, even to come up with your dates, go through all the process and all of that. But tonight we are learning that you may not be able to carry out that election. What is the mood and the situation at the NDC headquarters?
Omar, it's early days yet. Let nobody cast doubt on the ability of the NDC on organizing elections on Saturday. As it stands now, an injunction has been procured by Dr. Duffuor, and the leadership of the NDC is still engaging, and I can assure you that we will do everything within our power to see that Saturday's conference comes off.
Now, the crux of the reason he took you to court, and I'm referring to the party, it has to do with the persons who are going to vote. What does your party say about releasing the list of voters to candidates, and how come there appears to be a breach of the rules?
Omar, we admit there are some challenges, but I don't believe the challenges that we have are enough to warrant anybody going to court. Also, the kind of challenges that Dr. Duffuor is complaining of. There is a committee that has been set up under the leadership of the General Secretary that we're looking into it. And so he going to court came as a bit of a surprise to all of us. But like I said, he's a party person. We believe he will reason with the party so that we find a solution to the impasse that we find ourselves in. I want to believe that once the kind of engagements that have started, if we're able to exhaust all of it, we should be having conference on Saturday.
The problem is that the list was not given to him, and I'm asking, what is the procedure? Are you not supposed to publicize this list, or perhaps give it to all candidates? Is there a time period you're supposed to give it to them? How come there was a failure to deliver this to him, for which reason he has had to drag you to court?
Omar, you should bear in mind that delegate list is Dr. Duffuor and all the other two aspirants, including President Mahama, have been going around campaigning. The question I ask is, who are they campaigning to? Certainly they are campaigning to delegates. Everybody has a list of the delegates list. And let's get the issues very clear. A list was first provided to all aspirants. That includes the names and telephone numbers of delegates. What we sought to do as a party, and this is a novelty, we've never done it before, was to add a photo album so that it will make voting very easy on election day. So that everybody who comes to vote, your picture is included and that your picture is attached to your name. That is the list Dr. Duffuor is complaining about. The photo album is what he's complaining about. But I can bet you that every candidate, from parliament to presidential, has a copy of the list of all delegates in the 275 constituencies, even though we will not be holding elections in some other constituencies. But as it stands now, every delegate, every candidate has a list of delegates, including phone numbers. That is how come candidates have been able to go around and campaign. Because if you don't have the list of delegates, then when you go around, who are you going to meet? Anybody can appear to you and tell them I'm a delegate. But because we've provided that list to them, that list is available to everybody. What they don't have is that we've managed to give them 220 constituencies of the photo album. And we were, at the time that was given last week, they were working on the remaining. And I believe that is where the challenge is. We appreciate the fact, and we also acknowledge the fact that Dr. Duffuor may have some concern. But the party has not looked the other way. The party is doing everything possible to see to it that everybody is given a copy. And let me also emphasize that it is not only Dr. Duffuor that has not gotten the full list of the photo album. All three other candidates don't have. You can find out from Kwejobonsu's camp, and you can find out from His Excellency President Mahama's camp. So it is not like they don't have the list of delegates. The list of delegates have already been given. Like it is the photo album that there are challenges with. And that is being addressed.
Is it a must that candidates have the album? If you already provided them with a list, is it compulsory that you also give them a photo album?
I was elected National Youth Organizer in December, on the 10th of December. I didn't have a photo album. All our previous elections did not have a photo album. We, as a new group of national executives, have just decided that because of the advancement in technology and trying to make voting very easy on election day, we decided that apart from the list that we've provided, that includes the names and telephone numbers of delegates, we're going to add a photo album to make identification very easy. Because we are bringing all delegates to one center or two centers within the constituency. And in some areas, we have more than 100 polling stations. So what it means is that you have more than 1,000 delegates turning up at one center. For it to be easy for the Electoral Commission to make references, we're hoping that the photo album was going to expedite the process so that voting doesn't delay. And that was the reason why we decided to add a photo album to this year's election. But previously, in all other elections, we had nothing to do with a photo album. We have decided to go a step higher and add a photo album to it.
Okay, so this is an additional spec you were given, which has gone south.
Omar, with all due respect, it's not gone south. What has happened is, at the time that we delivered, at the time we had managed to compile 220 constituencies. And mind you, they are compiling delegate lists from all over this country. All over this country. So definitely you may have, and putting together pictures, adding names, putting names with pictures together, you definitely have challenges. And that is exactly what has happened. And so as of yesterday, we were left with only 8 constituencies. And even that, it was still coming in. And so I believe that by the close of today, all the 275 constituencies that will be having elections in for the presidential primaries should have a photo album ready.
By when again? Say that again. When would the album?
By the close of today. As of yesterday, when I was leaving the office, I've not been to the office today, but as of yesterday, when I was leaving the office, we were left with just 8 constituencies that did not have their album complete. It is not that it is not there at all. But then some names did not have pictures attached to it. And we're still liaising with the various regional secretaries to get those pictures in, and then we attach them to the names.
So you hope to finish that by today, which means you would furnish it to all the campaign teams?
Certainly.
All right. Is there a law that either you created or existed already which says that the photo album or the voter album be given to the candidate before a number of days to the election?
I have not invested my mind to it. It may be there, but I have not seen it, and I have not paid attention to that particular law.
So I'm asking that because I've seen a statement that the Electoral Commission has issued and given some hints to that. And I think with your indulgence, it would be good to just read that, and then you can help me make sense of that. I don't know if you have seen it, but I can just read it here.
If you can read it to me, I will appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I'm on the line now with George Opare Addo. He's National Youth Organizer of the National Democratic Congress. The party was scheduled for a congress this weekend where to elect the various parliamentary candidates and also a presidential candidate, but that appears to have been thrown into limbo. Let me read for you, Mr. Opare Addo, now what the Electoral Commission has communicated. It says, remarks, meeting with the National Democratic Congress, remarks by Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Jane Mensah, date Wednesday, 10th May 2023, time 2 p.m., venue Electoral Commission Conference Room. A good afternoon to you all. On behalf of the Electoral Commission, I welcome you to the offices of the Commission this afternoon. As we are all aware, we haven't had the participation of the NDC at our IPAC meeting since 2021. We hope that your honoring our invitation to this meeting will pave the way for the NDC to return to IPAC and be part of the important discussions that take place here. We have called this meeting this afternoon to inform you about our decision on a matter that lies before us. As we are all aware, the NDC invited the Electoral Commission to supervise the conduct of its presidential and parliamentary primaries slated for Saturday, 13th May 2023. Several meetings have been held between the Commission and the Elections Committee of the NDC to discuss the modalities. A set of guidelines have been agreed upon with the Elections Committee of the party. Key among the guidelines is the requirement that the register to govern the election would be made available to the contesting parties by the Elections Committee of the NDC at least 7 days before the conduct of the elections. Earlier this week, the Commission received a letter from Dr. Kwabena Duffuor's campaign team alleging various errors and anomalies with the register. It was based on this that the Commission felt it necessary to meet with the Elections Committee of the NDC as well as the representatives of all the presidential aspirants to deliberate on this matter and agree on a way forward. That meeting was to have been held today. However, yesterday we were served with an application for interlocutory injunction seeking to restrain the Commission from supervising the conduct of the presidential and parliamentary primaries due to the alleged anomalies with the register. Gentlemen, in order that we are not cited for contempt, the Commissioner has taken the decision not to supervise the conduct of the presidential and parliamentary elections until after the determination of the case by the court. We thought we should bring this to your attention. Therefore, the meeting called to discuss the concerns of Dr. Kwabena Duffuor campaign team has been cancelled. Thank you. So, Pablo, but the part that would interest me, and for which reason I asked that question, is a 7 days gap, which you are supposed to.
But Omar, if you even listen to the letter makes an admission that a list has been given to them, but there are anomalies in the list. So clearly, the party has satisfied the condition of giving them that list. Anomalies are nothing new. Even the Electoral Commission that is funded by state funds, before every election, there are challenges with the voter register. They that are even provided with state security and everything. So it is nothing new. These are the anomalies that they wrote to us. The committee met them on Monday. A committee met Dr. Duffuor's team, and then we promised to look into their concerns. And like I said, so the list, and so they even make an admission that they have received a list, but there are anomalies in the list. So it is not like a list has not been given to them at all.
But this list of the 8 constituencies that is still outstanding would be given to them latest end of business today.
No, Omar, if you had listened to me, what I said was that the list has been provided.
The album. I'm referring to the album. I'm referring to the album that will be given to them tonight.
Even the 8, what I said on the 8 is that it is not that we don't have it. It's just that there are some loopholes. There are some gaps. Some names are without pictures. And so everybody has the same information. It's just that there are 8 that must be perfected. And as of yesterday, we were still receiving information, and then the team was working on perfecting it and handing it over to them. I don't believe that 8 is enough to warrant Dr. Duffuor going to court to stop the election. But if nothing was being done, it's different. But immediately you raise your concerns, and rightly so, when there are concerns, the committee must sit to address it. Monday, you met the committee. Tuesday, you serve us with an injunction order. Clearly, it was not in good faith, because if after Tuesday nothing was done, but as of that day when you even brought it up, we admitted that, okay, fine, if these are what the challenges are, we will quickly remediate for you. And so we're in the process of remedying it, and then this action followed.
You said the action of Dr. Kwabena Duffuor may amount to the failure to exhibit good faith in your dealings or relationships with him. Tell me what your internal party rules say. When can a party who is aggrieved in your party go to the courts, external courts?
When you have exhausted all internal processes. And I don't believe all internal processes have been exhausted.
So does it mean he has breached some of the party rules?
It is not a breach per se, but so when you exhibit bad faith, doesn't mean you may have breached anything. But being a party person and coming from the party, we were expecting that as a party person, he would have been more tolerant if there were issues with the party than to resort to court. Because on Monday, your committee met with us. Your team met with us. We promised to look into it, and we were looking into it. So if we meet on Monday, and then on Tuesday we are served with an injunction order. If it had even been served on us on Wednesday, and then Tuesday we did nothing. Because yesterday we were in a meeting at FEC when the injunction was served on us, when we were deliberating on the issues that he had raised to find a solution to them.
In such situations, because now the party, you've been ridiculed and your Congress may be thrown off gear, the preparations you have would have to be relooked at. I'm sure there will be money that would be lost. If it comes to that, are there internal mechanisms you use to penalize people who would have dragged your party into disrepute? And I'm referring specifically to Dr. Kwame Duffuor. In this instance, if he conducted himself in a way that you would not have expected of him as a party member, are there penalties?
I don't believe Dr. Duffuor has breached any part of the party's constitution. Everybody is entitled to go to court once you feel aggrieved. And Dr. Duffuor is not a first party person to have gone to court. And so I don't think the party is going to penalize him because he's gone to court. Rather, we expect that Dr. Duffuor will come back to the table for all of us to sit down as a party and have some level of some kind of negotiation that can allow Congress to take place on Saturday. Because like you rightly said, it is not just about the flag bearer. It is not just about Dr. Duffuor. There are over 220 parliamentary candidates, 220 constituencies that will be holding parliamentary primaries. And people would have campaigned. People would have done all that they have to do. And so if Congress or conference is postponed, what it means is that the cost is going to be so huge on a lot of people. And I believe that Dr. Duffuor, I know, will definitely come to the table to sit down with the NDC for us to find an amicable solution to the problem.
Very well. Thank you so much. But when is that meeting going to be, if there's going to be any meeting at all?
Omar, these are internal issues. So if you may leave that to us. When we are done, we'll put out a statement and tell the world we've resolved our problem. And believe me, the NDC is capable of resolving this problem.
What about the court action that has been brought against you? If it should be called at all, that will be on Monday.
He's the plaintiff. So I believe we still have tomorrow. We can always file for an abridgment of time. And so let's see how it plays out. We have tomorrow, we have Friday. Today is just Wednesday.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate you for the time.
You're welcome.
That's George Opare Addo. He's national youth organizer of the party. We picked that information from the NDC side, suggesting that the party may go to court tomorrow and invite the court to deal with the matter that it has scheduled for Monday, the 15th of May, to be addressed tomorrow. In which case, if the court determines that there is no case, the Congress comes off on Saturday. But if the court determines that there's a case, that Congress would then have to be postponed. So that is another additional information we've just picked while doing that interview with George Opare Addo, who is National Youth Organizer of the NDC.